Okay, we're here. Today's topic is going to be on Halloween. Now, I know a lot of people celebrate this. I know a lot of people feel like it's not really anything bad. Some people might feel like it is a little bad, but it's not bad enough to be one of those things that you have to completely stop. You still got things for the kids, you could just make it a harvest situation. I get it. I understand, man. The world is ridiculous. But at the same time, it don't change the truth of the matter of what's going on. And I'm really just going to go right into it. Um Halloween, the origins of it. It was this festival called Samhain. And back then, they used to do those rituals. I mean, we still kind of do some of the same things. Back then, they was doing dancing, feasting, taking nature walks, building altars to honor the ancestors, which is a whole nother thing. But we gonna keep moving. They also put on costumes. Why did they put on costumes at this ancient Celtic festival? The people would also light bonfires while wearing these costumes. And they did this to ward off the ghosts, they say. The costumes were included, that were included were what, saints, angels, and devils. Okay. They believed that the ghosts of the dead returned on this day. They also would give up certain offerings like food and drink. I guess it was like to ensure that the people and the livestock survived through the winter. They thought the souls of the dead were roam the earth. Even some of the people who were related to some of those spirits, I guess, that they were seeing, they said that they would revisit the homes seeking hospitality. And a lot of these families will set a place for them at the table. That's kind of crazy. What? That's the first thing I'm thinking. What? But at the same time, it ain't no judging, it ain't none of that. You gotta understand, I'm from this. I've seen this. We grew up doing this, dressing up, and never knowing why we was doing it. We just did it because it was tradition. It was something that people did. But I believe God put it in me and made my mind work a certain way where I always ask why. Why do we do this? And I know I'm not the only one. Why are we doing this? So let's just go to a little bit of a breakdown of this. Before I even get more into this, I will say that as children of God, it seems as though we should try not to open certain doors. Speaking of open doors, when the kids trick or treating or whoever's doing this ritual, they're knocking at your door. It's up to you to open and let whatever in or give up whatever offering similar to what they did Samhain, right? They dressing up as these spirits and they coming through no matter how you want to put it, no matter who they dressing up as. See, you're already you. You already have a personality. And some people might say, "Oh, you're going a little too deep with that," but I mean, when you think about it, especially in this way, it's just kind of like this next level with it. So I'm gonna start with this. Hallow. It means to honor as holy. Okay. Okay. Anybody ever heard of All Saints Day? They know that that's on November 1st, and it's one of those things that's kind of connected with this ritualistic event, Samhain, that they do from the night of the 31st to the night of the 1st. It's supposed to bring in the dark time, the winter time, and when it's the darkest of any time. It's all around darkness. You say, well, what does ween mean? Because they put two words together, that's a compound word. That means be of the opinion or to think or suppose. Like a person might say, I ween. I ween, is no sacred personage or whatever. That's what I just read on here. That's what it would mean. I got a few other meanings, or just things that people might say, which I never heard anyone use this lingo, but obviously they use it somewhere. But to hold as an option. Suppose, believe little did he ween that these wrenches, rags he now wore were but suitable to the long career. I don't even know what that's about. I'm going too far with that. I'm going to just leave that one. So, honor is holy. To be of the opinion, think or suppose. I'm going to just go with the smaller version of that, not even try to break it down too much, except for the fact that we live in a world where they say do without will, whatever you think, your opinion. And we honoring this as holy. This is a holy day. No matter how you want to put it, it's supposed to be some kind of holy day. So on this day, I'm trying to figure out, if it's a holy one, why do we have pumpkins, candy, jack-o'-lanterns, ghosts, spiders, spider webs, zombies, Frankenstein, monsters, pumpkin seeds, witches, cauldrons, bats, black cats, blood, bones, skeletons, tricks, mummies, vampires, caskets, tombstones, graves? I'm trying to figure out why would this day be made holy? What is really going on? What's happening on this day? And they got everybody where I come from doing it. What's up with that? So we'll go into the jack-o'-lantern. It was a story. It was an Irish story of some dude named Stingy Jack. According to the tale, Stingy Jack lived as a drunk Irishman who played tricks on people. During his life, Jack managed to make both God and the devil angry, so when he died, neither heaven nor hell would let him in. He was forced to roam the earth with only a turnip jack-o'-lantern to light his way. So you hollow out the pumpkin and put a light in there, but then you put the face on there of Jack, the angry Jack dude. I ain't even gonna go too much further before I say, if there's somebody who died and came back and they're walking around, that doesn't exist. Dudes don't do that. People don't do that. God don't do that. So anytime you see somebody who's already dead that's talking to you, that's a demon. Let's keep going. Trick-or-treating. Where did that come from? This meant that the spirits of the dead loved ones will return to their homes on Halloween night to visit. The living relatives will leave the food. I spoke about that. It's the same thing. In these different places, they do this. They done this. We do this. Right? But it's just like, what's going on? All right, blood symbolism. Right? It's blood everywhere. Why this? Why they using this? It's like, what, blood? One of the main things that we'll see is like the vampires with the blood dripping down on the side of their mouth. You got, streams of blood and all this other stuff. But I'm going to stop right there with vampire. Because that's one of the things, right? That's one of the main things that we see when it comes to Halloween. Vampires, all this. Can somebody tell me what a vampire is? That's my question. Because from what I understand, they do the same thing that the fallen or the demons would do. Think about it. They can't come into your house unless you invite them in. They need a doorway to get in. You have to allow them to come in. They don't have any power. They also can take regular humans and turn them into them. They can, right? Like, you part of this crew now. You with this now, right? That's what it seemed to me. It's like, and it's ridiculous because any real witch, if anybody who listening to this right now, if you know somebody who said that they're a witch or know somebody who's ever been one, they'll tell you what's going on this night. This is one of them special nights. It's a holy night for them. Any ex-witch would tell you that this is the night that you should not be doing anything remotely close to what we already been doing throughout our life. Because they'll let you know that this is the time that it really goes down. This is the time that they say that the spiritual realm and the physical realm has a veil that is thinnest. And it's like, I have another question that comes after that. Because you can say it's the thinnest, but it's like, well, why is it the thinnest? It's probably because everybody is taking part in this ritual that witches do to bring more darkness into the areas on that night. We're not doing this every day, but on this night we are. On this night is a holy night for the darkness, and we bringing it in. So yeah, the veil is going to be a little thinner. Yeah, you might see a little more going on. You might see real spirits walking around in the streets, but you don't know because everybody costumed up. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what you seeing. You don't know who you opening the door to. This is a fact. But then you might say, well, this is just a regular dude on here talking about witchcraft and Halloween and he don't know what he's talking about. That's crazy that you would think that at any moment in time and think that I wasn't going to go right to the Bible and see what he said about witchcraft or sorcery. In Leviticus 19:31, it said, do not turn to mediums or necromancers. Do not seek them out. And so make yourselves unclean by them, by seeking them out, by going to them. Then it says, I am the Lord your God. It was God that was saying this. Anybody that go see a psychic, when they tell you your future or they tell you something about yourself, it's because it's demons around you that watched you your whole life and they can tell you anything that's going on that ever happened. They can say, oh, your mother is this and you did this when you were 5 years old. Yeah, because they've been watching you. But they know that you don't know that. So the person sitting there doing all this crystal ball stuff, they can tell you that. They can come out and let you know that. And you be all amazed and say, oh, well, let me talk to my grandma. Your grandmother is dead if she died. And she will never talk to you again unless you and her make it to heaven. That's it. There is nothing like, once you approach the situation and realize there's no possible way that you can talk to somebody that's already dead, at that very moment, you look at this holiday and say, oh, okay, we see what's going on there. You look at going to see a psychic for a reading. Oh, okay. I see what that is, right? You got witches and warlocks and these Wiccans and all this other. Okay, I see what that is. Anybody who's saying that they talking to somebody that's not alive, that's what that is. And it's almost like when guys say not to do something, it's usually for a reason. He not one of those parents that just say, do it because I said so. He do it, and then you can literally see why. If you really want to know, you will see why. You can clearly see why. He said this. It's to protect you. Imagine God being God who only tell you things to protect you. Never nothing else. Once you realize that he that and not the person that want to send you to hell, he only wanted to bring you up to him because you ain't done nothing for him. He still kept you alive. It's a reason for that because he trying to get you to the level to where you will be clean enough to even step into his house? Right? That's what he trying to do. All day, every day, that's what he want. Because of that, he's saying things like this. Don't mess with that. Why? Because it'll make you unclean. It'll put you in a situation where you don't know what's going on. Clearly, we don't know what's going on. But clearly, it's people out here who are opening their eyes and understanding what is going on. It even say in Exodus 22:18, you shall not permit a sorceress to live. Back then, that means you're supposed to kill him? Oh, Leviticus 20:27 say a man or a woman who is a medium or a necromancer shall surely be put to death. They shall be stoned with stones. Their blood shall be upon them. What is going on right here? This is all from the Bible. You know that thing that they be trying to keep you from reading? When they put all these other obstacles in your way? All these other things that you got to be worried about? Think about saying, hey, God, I'm going to give it all to you. And then everything works out. Right? Or think about having all these other things in your face where you don't even think about going to God until it get real crazy. And then he proved to you that he is him. And then you go back to it because you're just used to it. You've been doing that. I've been doing that. We've been doing that. Right? Right? Or even that thought that I had before I did this where I'm like, well, I'm not the best person in the world, so I shouldn't even be talking about this because, I can't put nobody down. But the thing is, I'm not putting nobody down. That's not even God saying that in my head, that I'm going to be making somebody feel a certain way. It's God putting it in my head to say, yo, you got to say this. You ain't got no choice. You know why? Because it's people out there that ain't never heard nothing like it ever. And I might be the one that they hear it from. They might not even get it all. They might get a little bit and then later on say, oh, you know what? I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into this God thing. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It's on him. He just using me in this point. If I say no, then somebody else, he going to have somebody else do it. He don't need me or you or nobody. But he want us. If it was only one person left on the earth that was ever existed, he'd do all the things that he did just to save that one person. That's the level we on, but people don't know that. But I don't want to go too far into that, which I do, but at the same time, we're talking about Halloween right now. And why he's saying what he's saying. It's a reason why he's saying that. The material world, the spiritual world, both those things are real. If anybody out there that say they don't believe in God, but they doing Halloween and all this other stuff, they believe in all this other stuff, it's like, what's going on? You done seen people be possessed in the churches and in different places. You done seen this. People done seen this. They got videos of this. You telling me that that's happening, but God don't exist? You can't believe in one side and not the other one. God gotta exist. Let's go back to this Samhain thing. They even used to do rituals, like fertility rituals, where you just meet up with somebody. They just put you and another person together and y'all go at it. That's wild. Get what I'm saying? Like, what? This whole thing is just next level. It's next level. It's so much to unpack when it comes to this. It's like I can't even just stick with just that because it's so much. It's so much going on. I got notes written down. And it's still like I don't have enough. If you just look, anybody who's listening to this, you go look and see about how this spread into Christianity across medieval Europe, the All Saints Day, and all of that. I'm only making this video so anyone could look it up and see what's going on. Because when you really break down this, let's just say the list that I said earlier. It was a list that I brought up. Let's just go through the list. And after I go through the list, we're going to leave it at that. because it's not really nothing else to say, right? We already broke it down about the pumpkins, why they do that, why they call their face in there the jack-o'-lantern guy. The candy, right? That's like the offering, right? I don't fully got everything about the candy, but uh, trick or treating, everything you can kind of put those two together. Ghost. I just said, if you're talking to somebody who died and said that they came back, that's a demon. Clearly, what's going on? Spiders and spider webs, all the scary stuff, all the things that would scare you. Like why? Zombies, the undead coming back. Frankenstein, the undead coming back. Most monsters like Freddy Krueger, Jason, and all these dudes, the undead coming. Like the dudes died and came back every time. Witches. I just explained what the witches would say. They'll tell you what's going on. A lot of the witches don't even know what's going on. They think they good witches. But it's Satanists out there that know exactly what those witches are doing. It's levels to the evilness, just like it's levels on the good side. Right? You might have a dude that's a deacon and you might have a dude that's a pastor who out there preaching, doing all types of things. They got the same thing. It might not be named the same, but they got ranks on us on that side too, where certain dudes know more than the other ones. And you got to remember one thing. If you don't remember nothing else, is that anytime you dealing with the evil dark side, you will always be deceived first before anything. The first thing you gonna do is be deceived. You gonna think that it's something that's going on that's not happening. You gonna think that it's all good, and it's not. Somebody higher to you might know it's not, but they're not gonna tell you because it's their job to deceive you. They can't even talk to people like us without it being a problem. Some of these it's people out there that's really going and looking at the other realms and talking to these things and thinking that they better in their lives by getting the information literally from demons, bruh. Bats, black cats. These are all type animals that they say witches could possess. Or view like they view through the eyes of these animals that come around your house and all these things like that. Right? What's up with blood? Come on, man. Blood? And it's not like you got the blood of Jesus, right? Right? His blood is the reason why we even able to do what we do, make it back to him, right? He did what he did. What you doing? You mocking him or something? Like that's what it seemed like. The blood, the death, right? Everything is about death. Everybody's dying. What is going on? Bones? Come on, man. Skeletons, mummies. Is that yet another thing that's dead that's walking? Vampires. That's the same thing that I just explained with the mummies. Except for vampires are usually in movies something that's damned to hell. They seem like a straight demon. Every time. Caskets, tombstones, graves. On any other day. Get what? If God is love and he brings the life, what would the opposite be? What would the opposite do? Right? God is light, love, and he brings life. Create. So if you're the opposite, well, you would probably be in the darkness, worship the dark. You would probably bring death and destruction, confusion, deception, and you'll make it seem fun. It's almost as if it's like a pattern. It's like knowing how somebody works. Like you know you grew up around somebody, right? And they act a certain way. You might be in a situation And you can stop that situation from elevating, right? Because you like, let's just say I'm with my brother, and I know he gonna wild out if he go down. Somebody step on his shoe, he's gonna go down while we in the club, right? I don't go to the club no more. I'm just saying, let's just say back in the day I'm in the club, but I know my brother gonna wild out. I see dude step on his foot, I gotta step into that because I know it's gonna go to somewhere else. He's gonna go somewhere else because I know what he gonna do. So now I'm not gonna take my brother to the club. We ain't even going to the club no more. I'm not even gonna put him in that position to go to jail for the rest of his life for killing somebody in the club. Right? That's the decision that I'm making, not to be around this. It's the same thing here. We know how they work. We know what they do. Or if you don't know, that's what this is for. But if you know how they work, you know what they gonna do, why still go into? I can let my brother off this dude and I don't get to see him no more. And I can let these devils off my people and I don't get to see him no more. I can let these evil spiritual situations take over everybody around and don't say nothing about it. Bro, ain't nothing more important than saying something about it and getting out there and trying to do something to change it. Because somebody might say, well, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Because if everybody hear it and understand it, what's gonna happen? If they truly believe that God is who he is, it's gonna stop. We know it's not gonna stop because we living in this world that's fallen. It's like that. It's not what it was supposed to be. It's this. We know it ain't gonna stop. But we also know that our job is to get everybody as far away from the darkness as we can. So I just pray that everybody, anybody that's hearing this, right? Don't just hear this, or don't just say, oh, this dude going too far with it. This is just that. All I would ask you to do is go prove me wrong. Because it's so many other things that I didn't talk about. I'm not here to go for 3 or 4 hours talking about all these things. But I could. I just gave you a little rundown. And I would advise anybody, y'all watch YouTube, y'all watch all this, whatever. Go and just type in X witch. What a X witch would say about Halloween. I don't care which one you pick up. I'm not talking about a witch that's still a witch. Which is even crazier because they got witches on YouTube. Like real witches. They really doing what they doing, casting spells. Go look at any witch, ex-witch, and see what they say about it. See what they say about Halloween. Just see. And if you don't believe it, it's cool. I'm not an ex-witch. But talk to one or go watch and see. And then go read exactly what I was talking about. Go read about it. Go check it out. A lot of times they put stuff in books and people don't know what's going on. We just do stuff and we don't even know why we doing it. It's like, why we do this? It's like, no, that's the question we need to be asking. Why is this happening? And if the spiritual realm is real and God is bringing the light, and his light can shine by us bringing him into this realm, by calling him, by praying to him, what happened when we not praying to him and we spending time bringing the darkness in? And that's all I got to say about that. I just want to ask God, be with all of us, cover us all. Anybody who hearing this, let them have an open ear to hear, an open heart, not a hardened heart. And let your will be done. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.